Hey everybody, it's your old pal Brian Hunt. Welcome to another episode of 60 Seconds of Risk. And today I have the very distinct pleasure of having a very good friend I've known for many years, Meloni Raney. But she's not just my friend, she's actually president of the local the TEXO organization.
Right. Yeah.
And the first question I've got for you, Meloni, is people may not understand, there's agency chapters and ABC chapters, but what's TEXO?
Right. So TEXO is actually a joint chapter of ABC and AGC.
Okay.
So most cities have either or. Some cities have both. In 2009, the members here in DFW decided to merge the ABC and the AGC chapters. And when they merged, they changed the name to TEXO, which is Latin and it means to weave. So we've been officially merged since 2009.
Okay, I took Latin in high school, so I find it interesting. TEXO means to weave. It sounds like Texas organization, so
yeah,
pretty cool.
We often get Texas, Oklahoma,
Yeah.
What is it? And it's actually neither of that. It means to weave.
That's good marketing right there. So, obviously in your role, and I know about TEXO because my firm's a member, you've got large general contractors that do multinational, multi-billion-dollar projects, even to smaller $50 million general contractors, and a slew of subcontractors, all working here in North Texas.
Right.
And we've all known that North Texas has been growing like a weed, especially with COVID, and people came here in exodus. So, and what's going on here is probably no different in a lot of parts of the country, with the supply chain issues and labor issues. But since you're talking to a lot of executives on a regular basis, what's the feedback you're hearing right now as far as what's going on in North Texas? Or is it anything specific to this marketplace that's going on, or things are changing?
We are in a very unique situation, like you mentioned. So many people are moving here. Headquarters are moving here. I mean, Wells Fargo just announced they're coming officially. So that is, it makes us different because we have this influx of companies and people. So it does make us unique. But I do think our challenges with supply chain and people and inflation are what you see all across the country. So that has been my conversation for the last 2+ years is materials and people. So I do think though that we are in a unique situation, and we all know we're blessed to live here in Texas and to work in Texas. And especially in the DFW market. We're the second largest construction market in the country.
Wow.
I don't think that's changing anytime soon.
No.
So we probably will feel some impact, but not as drastically as other places in the country.
Yeah. And as you guys are probably hearing this background noise, it's a bunch of construction trucks going up and down the street. So no matter where I'm going in Texas and Dallas, I got construction somewhere.
We love this background.
It is good.
It's
It is good for all of us. But you and I were talking earlier. There was something you said earlier I thought was rather interesting, that there is maybe a systematic risk that people don't necessarily know about or think about right now.
Right. So I try to look at trends when
Yeah.
I'm having lots of conversations with the industry, and then those trends are what we use it's Texas North Star, what's happening in the industry and where do we need to head. And the majority, that was a big old dump truck right there. And the majority of my conversations, like I said, for the last 3 years have been people, supply chain issues, inflation. But I'm seeing a trend probably over the last 4 or 5 months with mental health being an issue.
Interesting.
So people will come in and start having a meeting with me, and it will quickly turn to they're struggling to stay focused. They're burned out, they're tired. And I think what it's attributed to is we haven't had a break in 3 years. This industry, continued running. It wasn't easy to work in a job site or to work in our industry during COVID.
Yeah.
So you've got stress at work, you've got stress at home, you've got kids on virtual. There's just a lot of stress and fatigue in this world, and I think it is really taking a toll on people.
That's interesting. Now, people have talked. We've run at zero interest rates for so long, and as a result, we've seen a lot of, people buying, doing projects. It makes it cheap. Now rates are going back to normal, and I say normal back when I bought my house at 6 3/4, and that was 20 years ago. It was a good rate, but I still bought a house.
Right.
And I think people don't have a perception of what normal was now. But if anything, hopefully, maybe getting back to normal might alleviate some of the pressure people are feeling to be constantly running left and right.
Right. There just is there's no break. And I think the industry, construction attracts people who have strong work ethics. They're doers. They like to do things.
Agreed.
And so I think the people that our industry attracts, when there's a lot of work, we're going to figure out a way to get it done, which means we're working 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And it takes leaders and managers and executives to say, time out. Like, make sure you're getting home to your spouse. Make sure you're spending time with your family. Make sure you're taking PTO. Like, we have to encourage that in our industry more so than we've ever done before. Yeah. And I know the projects have deadlines and we're all on tight schedules, But at some point, we have to take into account people's mental health and how they're doing stress-wise to make sure that we can keep people in this industry. This is a big part of retaining people.
Right.
It's making sure they're taking care of themselves in all aspects.
No, and last point on that, I totally agree, because I did a little construction, but I learned real quick how important and stressful the job of a superintendent is. Because superintendent might be at a job for 2 years, but that next job might be half the state away.
Right.
There's a commute back and forth, the pressure it puts back on the families. No, it's a stressful job. Absolutely,
It is.
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
There's really nothing easy about our industry.
No.
But to give our industry credit, we're talking about it more than we've ever talked about it. There's a ton of resources out there. I think the TEXO members that are talking about it have put in place programs to help their employees. So there are steps being taken, but I think we have to continue the conversation and continue to push ourselves to make sure we're being healthy in all areas.
Amen. Melanie, thank you so much for your time. It's been very insightful. Everybody, as you see, once again, if you like what you saw, or is there a certain topic you want to see or individual, please let me know on LinkedIn, put a post, or send me a message. You can also subscribe to this channel on YouTube. You can also find links through Twitter. Until next time, bye.
Or go to any networking event and Brian will be there.